Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, I feel like something was missing from the intro. Now is the vibrate. That's funny. I like doing it so much. It's like, wait, something was missing. But want to share about speaking on how important our confidence level is with dealing with our psychic abilities and doing readings and sharing information. Because one thing I realized on my growth, and realizing where I'm at right now, I've come to a place that's for some strange reason, I don't say strange, for some reason, coming across this energy of lacking confidence all of a sudden in what I'm doing. And I realized now, first and foremost, when we think about this vibe of like making sure we don't go around certain energies, because we don't want those energies to quote unquote bring us down. Again, we have to be vibrating on a certain frequency in the first place to even attract those situations, people, places, or things, So as much as I could say, well, I might have picked up on somebody else's lack of confidence and then it started getting to me, which it is a balance, because of course, after we set things in order, say for instance, I'm like, I'm confident, I'm confident I'm good. We do have that little test that come through, and we gotta pass that test, or otherwise we're gonna kind of still stay in that place of, not being confident. Once we, move in that direction, our higher self tests us, and we have to pass that test in order to step to that plate of just, again, of getting over that lack of confidence. But I realized like lately how much I've been in a place of feeling like I have to, quote like from all kind of books. And matter of fact, I see where they talk about Capricorn energy and root chakra energy, or Saturn energy, more so Saturn energy. But again, that's kind of tied to the root chakra, because the Saturn deals with authority figures, like discipline and authority figures. And to a certain extent, when we think about the root chakra, it deals with the earliest stages of our growth, and we deal with authority figures and discipline at the early stages of our growth. If I think about that Saturn energy of looking up to, not necessarily authority figures, but just looking up to those people who we look up to in essence. As far as like I think about, when I get in this mode, sometimes I be watching different lectures, and it'll be like Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and like I get to this place of feeling, from watching it, because I'm, again, getting caught in this place, not realizing what I'm doing, of like going outside myself and kind of look almost indirectly doing things in approval, let's just say, for the people I'm watching. So say if I'm watching Bobby Hemmett videos and he's speaking on, scholarship, backing it up with the books, this and that, but here it is, why I know and prove to myself, like, hey, you do the videos on what you feel, what I'm saying? Like, everything is not going to be backed up by a book necessarily. There's a lot of things that we channel, a lot of things that come to us intuitively, and we got to share with a certain level of confidence, like, look, this is what it is, and you either take it if it resonates with you or you don't, but fell into this mode of, feeling like, all right, let me be more like this. Again, kind of like looking outside, trying to model myself, after somebody else. Again, that authority figure. So again, not necessarily being commanded by that person, but because I look up to that person, I'm kind of, how can I say, dealing with their critique, as far as when I say their critique, like, they in the video speaking on, you should do it like this, you should do it like that. And subconsciously I'm taking in, that message, and instead of doing things the way that it comes best for me, then I go to trying to do it like, how so-and-so say to do it, because again, I'm looking at, by me admiring that person, I'm kind of also treating them as the authority figure over me, like, oh, well, say for instance, like such and such wouldn't do it like that, so I'm not going to present it like that, and in that moment, I'm not being myself, because I'm not such and such, I'm not so-and-so, you know, uh, we are ourselves, you know, and again, doing our things to the best of our abilities with our uniqueness, because we all different, we all uniquely different. We have a lot of common grounds as far as like, with our spiritual abilities, but some of us may be more clairvoyant than clairsentient. Some of us may be, you know, like you got the clear ability of taste. Some of us may have that more than the clear ability to hear, where you're hearing things that are, on an extrasensory level, you're hearing noises that's not really around you, or you're tasting things that, when you're not eating, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of us have different levels of those clear abilities, So it's different strokes for different folks, and the bell agrees. But again, just the main thing to what I'm speaking on is just maintaining that confidence in what we do, because now I got like, realizing that I got to get back to that place of like, wait, hold on, you're trying to be like this person, but bro, this information just comes to you, and you be knowing that it's something to share, and some of this information you won't have in it, but like, especially when you the motherfucker bringing down some different or new types of perspectives and point of views, and of course, nothing's new under the sun and all this shit, but and not to say it like that, of course, technically, again, the collective, we've been, doing all these different things and just different lifetimes, different dimensions, of course, but again, went on that rant and lost myself in the thing, but just having confidence in our abilities, and not letting the people who we admire, not letting, of course, like, again, like, when we wanting to be a basketball player, you kind of listen or watch your favorite basketball player, and you kind of listen to what they talk about and how to play. And when you do certain things, and that's just like, again, that's with that analogy, it's like, you admire Allen Iverson, and you hear him talk about, oh yeah, I would never go to my left hand when I do this, and all the better players do it like this, and that's why I do it, so you hear your player talk like that. So when you go in to play basketball and you don't do things in the way that your favorite player, do it and say they do it, you kind of feel like it's almost like an imaginary version of that player talking to you like, oh man, I don't do it like that. You ain't doing it like how I say do. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go to over critiquing yourself, and it just turns into a point of us again stepping away from being true to our uniqueness, because again, I just gotta face the fact, like, a lot of information I get downloads on, or again, clear cognizant, little thoughts just coming through, and a lot of it don't have evidence, of course, and that's the thing where it does come into play of like having, like, say for instance, the only evidence for intuition is other little cases where you could point to where, like, say for instance, catching the download about, for example, somebody feel like, oh man, I caught the download that God is a woman. Now of course, say for instance, there's no literature speaking out on it necessarily, but that person could say, and not only I got that download, but then when I look around me, I look at the proof that, men have nipples because they started off as females first. When you move one dot, of consciousness in a circle and move it to the next dot of consciousness, it makes a female shape. So, you could say that the female shape come from, like, you could use these different little forms of, again, not necessarily evidence, but just information that kind of draws to that same point in essence, and just makes your intuitive realization seem more logical in essence by having other events that tie up and line up with what you're speaking on, so like when I had the download again, like feeling like with Malachite evolving, You know, I did that video like Malachi involved, and I knew when I was doing it, like, bro, this, I don't know what the fuck I'm, to a certain extent, like my human self, like, bro, I don't know what the fuck, and that's when you start to realize again why you have to have this confidence, because our lower self, our lower nature, that part of us that's pessimistic and, you know, negative, you know, could always find a way to, you know, block that, you know, block us from sharing that type of information. So again, like when doing the Malachite video, you know, that ego, lower nature, like, bro, nobody talking about this, or you know what, like, you know. But then I caught like, oh, that's just my lower nature, and then my higher self, like, yeah, like, do this video, you know what I'm saying? Speak on it, because in so many words, you know, again, when we bringing information from higher realms, you know, it's very at times it could be difficult to put, you know, those things into words. Because say for instance, like I'm using the word transform when I'm talking about the Malachite, you know, having a transformation and evolving. That's for lack of a better word, you know. It's kind of like it and its connection with Venus and copper, and you know, and that connection with Ophiuchus and Friday and Frigg and Freya and Irzuli and Oshun, which I gotta do a video on too. You know, that all has see, I be apologies y'all for having these little zappy moments. I be it's like things coming in and out, but that's basically it, you know. And just like having confidence to, you know, share what you feeling. When this vibe came up for me to share it, I come back, oh no, but people gonna think it's stupid, or this and that, you know what I'm saying? I could have talked myself away from doing it, you know. And a lot of times we gotta be aware of that, where sometimes our logic is, you know, again, using our logic and not letting it use us. Well, sometimes the logic is being helpful, you know, in some cases, but then sometimes the logic is taking you away from, you know, following your spirit. But you know, again, just maintaining that confidence level, you know, working with the citrines, the carnelians, also the red jaspers, the hematites, the tiger's eye, you know, is a great crystal. You know, you know, maintaining that confidence, that solar plexus there, you know, a matter of fact, that certain level of courageousness, you know, with the root chakra, you know, to you know, again, to share our perspective, or you know, our insights. And again, I've just been noticing how I've been over critiquing myself. And again, I know that I eventually, you know, I want to do, you know, have you know, these lectures. I'm not even say lectures, but just, you know, have this information all tied up with all the books to reference. You know, of course I want to do that, but I also know that I am you know, intuitive and have extrasensory perception that is pretty strong. So it's like, you know, why work smart and not hard, you know? Like, again, I get these down, I'm gonna share them, you know. But again, I was getting to a place of feeling like again, like having to make all these references to these books, and then I had to, you know, had that realization of like, bro, look at some of your most popular videos. Like, you ain't referenced now liquor book. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're fucking right. God damn it. We're not damning God, but you. And when I say that, not like, oh, we're not damning God. I mean like damning the God, you know, within me. You know what I'm saying? You, all of, you know. But yeah, it's just realizing to have that confidence, you know. All of us, like you look at Michael Jackson, you know, Tupac, you know, Prince, James Brown, Aaliyah, Left Eye, you know, shit, even the Dr. Sebi or Dick Gregory, you know, not even just in entertainment, you know, but these different people where, you know, we a lot of us hold them to this, not say hold them to this high place, but like, you know, we we love them so much, you know, because they're so unique. Like all those people, what they all have in common is they were being them unique selves. Because if you realize, none of them were just alike, you know. Of course, they were just alike in that vibe where they all, you know, spoke up about certain things, you know, and was becoming wise to certain things and informing people about it. But for the most part, you know, all uniquely different, you know, all uniquely different. You know, matter of fact, Tupac and Michael Jackson would have made a fire song. Imagine that. Imagine those two people still living, you know. Like again, but everything is in divine order. Those two people aren't living for a reason, because, you know, just like a Jesus aspect of, like, you know, if they were still living, people would probably be sitting on their ass while trying to let them do most of the work, possibly, you know. So we wouldn't be ascending and doing our soul work because you know, we would be in essence trying to sit back and let them do it for us, you know. So it's like they did their little part in transition, you know. We do our little part, you know. We don't want to enable each other. You know, that's why I spoke to in that vibe with like psychic, like how a person, oh, with the master T, like why some of the philosophers and teachers not manifesting abundance on a certain level. But I spoke to that as well. But that's basically it, y'all. Just staying confident in ourselves with our readings, with what we do. Again, because that's what I was speaking on, like, because all these different people I named, you know, that uniqueness, you know, and all loved on high levels, because our soul loved, you know, was resonating with them being their soulful selves, you know. If you notice, whenever we not being our soulful true selves, we in the cookie cutter environment. So you can't tell us no different from the rest of the people in society whenever we just going along with, you know, what society say go along with, you know what I'm saying, compared to when we be our true selves, you know, and unique to ourselves, not from the subconscious programming of what mom and dad and family want me to be and what makes everybody feel comfortable, but who I truly feel I am, and being that regardless if it makes somebody uncomfortable, because it's good, because with anything, any and all things we do gonna make somebody uncomfortable, you know. So you might as well shine and be the greatest you while making people uncomfortable, instead of, you know, not being yourself and making people uncomfortable. Because again, people gonna hate you regardless. So I rather you know, that hatred come from a vibe of me taking care of my business than me not, you know, just sitting around, you know. But that's basically it, y'all. Just remember to have that confidence, you know, in our own being, doing things in our unique manner. Just because universal frequencies say he do things like this, or because universal frequencies say this is the only way to do, which I don't make generalizations like that. And if I have, I apologize if I ever did, you know. But, you know, like making these statements, you know, it's not about you trying to do what I think, you know. Again, because I'm being me, you know, I'm expressing myself from my perspective and point of view, you know. So, you know, not trying to, so you're not sitting there trying to be the person that I think that, you know, so and so want me to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I say again, who I think I should be from the standpoint of listening to this person who I admire, or listening to this person I get information from. You know, that's all it is, you know. Listen for the information that resonates with you, but all that extra about, you know, how to carry yourself in certain manners, you know, that perspective is more unique to our different souls, you know, at the way we you know, do things. But again, peace, happy now. Now is the vibrative course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.